Hello everyone and welcome back to another ChessTube episode. In today's video we're continuing the series dedicated to the London system, and we're going to have a closer look to the Dutch defense, especially the variation where Black tries to set up the Stonewall system of the Dutch defense. So we're going to do that by analyzing the gameplay between Richard Rapport and Anton David Gihar from 2015. In the European Championship in Reykjavik. So the game starts with d4, f5, bishop to f4. This is our move order as London players. Knight f6, and now important to play pawn to e3. So in some of the previous episodes on the channel, we covered how to play against the Leningrad variation of the Dutch. And we mainly discussed this h4 idea with the main point of playing h5 and sacrificing the exchange next. So in case you missed those episodes, make sure to check out the description of this video, so you stay up to date in all the lines. And after e3, in this game e6 was played, and I want you to pay close attention to the move order that White uses, because this is very important. I mean, you can try to get the following position in many ways, but you want to do it in a way that Black gets no good moment to go for knight h5. So Richard starts with bishop to e2. Notice that he's basically avoiding all kinds of knight h5 ideas. Bishop to e7 by Black, and now the move h3. So again, if you go knight f3, possibly Black could get into this knight h5 and be really annoying trying to win your bishop. So you know, as a London player, you have to protect this bishop from f4 like a newborn baby, basically. So that's why you have to play this h3 move. And after short castle, you are safe to develop the knight on f3, because if knight h5 would happen in this position, you are safe to retreat the bishop on h2 and have a safe position for it. So after the move knight f3, knight e4 was played in the game, and here again it's an important moment because White played the move knight ft2. So the main reason why you are playing the move knight ft2 is in case of any knight captures on d2, you want to be able to take it with a knight. So now if Black would be trying to implement the main strategical plan of going b6 and then bishop to b7, you will have this important idea of playing bishop to f3. So here it's even more awkward for Black because he hasn't even developed the bishop. But let's just say White were to be playing short castle even after bishop b7, bishop f3 is a very sound positional idea that you want to have as White, in order that you can trade that strong bishop that is on the long diagonal. So this is one of the main reasons why the knight from f3 is vacating that square that the bishop needs to occupy on f3. And we're going to see a game with that theme a little bit later on the channel. But again, hit the subscribe button so you're not going to miss any upcoming stuff on the channel. But that is actually a game that's going to be up on the channel, where Black plays, I believe in this position, the move b6, but we're not going to get into that much here, because after knight e4, knight f to d2, we have the move d5 by Black. And at this point, you can kind of notice the first appearance of the Stonewall pawn structure. So this is what I would be calling, the Stonewall Dutch, when Black tries to set up that pawns. So after d5, White took on e4, f takes e4, and went for c4. Bishop to g5 was played by Black, which I think it's small inaccuracy. Bishop d6 seemed a little bit more precise, and even after bishop takes, queen takes, knight c3, something like c6, I think White can claim a slightly better position after the move knight to d7 and the queen to b3. It just seems to me that White has easier development overall. So back in the game, after the move bishop to g5, what White did is really clever, because the bishop on g5 looks kind of active, but if you're just leaving it there, it's only staring into the e3 pawn. And just look at this beautiful bishop on h2, and just remember, as I said in the beginning of this video, we're protecting this h2 bishop like a newborn baby. So the bishop on h2 is just cutting the board in two pieces, while the other bishop on g5 is struggling at the moment. So the game continued. Knight to d7, knight to c3 by white, pawn to c6, castle short, rook to f7, queen c2, and now after knight f8, white simply starts pushing on the queen side with b4. So just notice how nicely this bishop is cooperating into the queen side initiative that white has, while the other bishop on g5 is not doing much, to say the least. So we have knight to g6 by black, bishop h5, an important move to simply pin the knight and make things awkward for black on the king side. Rook to f6, b5, continuing the initiative, knight to h4 by black, and now the move bishop to e5. Attacking the f6 rook, rook to h6, and now bishop to g4. So the bishop on g4 is just a very solid piece, defending against any potential tricks that black can try to do on the king side. So there is simply not any like tactical trick or any weird sacrifice that's available for black. So we have rook to g6, rook a b1. So white is preparing to open up the b file and then continue the queen side initiative with a move such as queen a4. I think that's quite a natural move that comes to mind. So I have the move bishop to f6, and again, you can try to pause the video and answer this question: do you trade the bishops or not? Because here the bishop is again struggling on f6, and the bishop on e5 is actually quite strong. And in the game, white played the move bishop to g3, which I think was a very clever decision, because again the bishop is just very useful, not on c8 but on that diagonal. It's just like taking away a lot of key squares from black, while this bishop on f6, what is it doing? Attacking the d4 pawn? I mean, that's not really that important, is it? So yeah, again, another very strong positional concept by white. So we have the move knight to f5 by black, and here you have a choice. I mean, I'm not going to call you to pause the video again, because white has two pleasant moves, and in case you're wondering, bishop h2 was again a very interesting idea, just keeping that bishop, but Richard went for the more concrete option, which is bishop takes, still very strong, and for pawn takes, he simply started doing some threats on the queen side. So bc, cd5, and black tried f4. He tried to create some counterplay, but still, I mean, after a move such as cd5, rook b5 comes very strong, and after bishop to e6, simple and strong, rook fb1. Just notice that the bishop on g3 is actually cooperating to this with this rook b8 idea that's just gonna win the queen. So yeah, in the game, the move f4 was tried, opening up that light square bishop, but after the simple bishop takes f4, black had to go c takes on d5. Bishop takes h3 looks very scary, but after bishop g3, cancelling this pin, so white is threatening to take on h3 and also to take on c6. White will be completely winning. So in the game, c takes d5 was played, but now white simply sidestep that bishop takes h3 idea by playing king to h2, and after bishop g5, again the same bishop dance. You go bishop e5, you don't allow that trade, and we have the move rook to c6 by black, trying to pin white's knight, but white can simply go rook fc1, bishop to e6, and now rook to b7, threatening to take on g7. So black tries to block that by playing bishop to e7, and now white simply decides to unpin with the move queen to d2. We have the move bishop to f8 by black. If bishop d6, very strong would have been to just go knight e2. After bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes c1. White can go queen takes c1, and just notice that the knight is dominating that light square bishop plus the very active rook. So going back to the game, after queen d2, the move bishop to f8 was played, and now white is simply rerouting this knight to f4 by going knight e2, rook to c4 by black. Now the move knight to f4, simply improving the position of the knight, threatening to take the bishop. Bishop to f7, now rook cb1. White's creating a massive threat of penetrating even further with the move rook to b8. So here black has to try something, but okay, g5 is a little bit of a desperation sign, but white finds the precise queen to e2. Main point being that if you take, queen g4 happens, bishop g6, queen e6 is going to be a checkmate after bishop f7 and queen f7. So after the move queen e2, queen e8 was played, and now queen g4 trying to take on g5, h6, and the very precise queen f5. Again the same motive. After gf4, white can play this queen f6 move with a mate on h8. So after queen f5, rook c6 was played, but white had a very nice finish. You can try to pause the video. This is the last time, I swear, when I'm asking you to pause the video. But after this move, black was forced to resign, and the move was knight takes on d5. Trying to play knight f6 and highlighting the fact that the rook on b7 is just very strong, because the bishop takes queen h7 would be a playable move with a checkmate. So yeah, I think this whole bishop dance was just very important by white, and just notice how important it was for white to keep those bishops on the board, and simply by keeping those bishops is just made a difference on the queen side. So only with this kind of small details they can just like win you games, just like that. So yeah, if you feel like you learned something new, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you're not missing any upcoming videos on the channel. So yeah, that was it for today guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next ones. So yeah, take care.